The transfer window is close for the spring, and my God, it's about time Michigan State has a drama-free cycle, but also, yeah, 3 guys coming into the program. Let's talk about them.
You are Locked On Spartans, your daily podcast on the Michigan State Spartans, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Episode of Locked On Spartans is brought to you by the Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into your Xbox, no console needed. Head to Amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. Spartan friends, Spartan family, Locked On Spartans listeners, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Spartans, your team in green and white 5 days a week. Please rate, review, subscribe. Comment below your thoughts on the recent transfer window for Michigan State because, guys, this, at least going out, this was a sleepy one. We're going to talk about this here in a little bit, but just wanted to tease the interview here coming up later on in the show. Incoming linebacker Leonard Ah You. That's right, from Northern Oahu, Hawaii. He joins the show here talking about his journey to Michigan State and how it not really a conventional path of, being a high school commit, coming right to your school. No, he did a 2-year mission trip. So we talked not just about what he's going to do on the field here for Michigan State, but just his path to East Lansing. So I hope you guys stick around for that one. All right, let's talk about the meat of the show here because, yes, Friday was a big date on the college football calendar. That is the last day, unless you're a graduate transfer, but you could do that whenever. But for the rest of players, that's when you had to have your name in the transfer portal if you wanted to leave your program in this spring cycle. And my God, guys, we've done it. Us Michigan State fans, we have finally experienced what a sleepy spring portal cycle looks like, at least for guys going out of the program. Because, yeah, it's been kind of crazy the last few years here. 2 years ago, Keon Coleman and your starting quarterback, Peyton Thorne, pretty much leaving at 11:59 p.m. right before the deadline rolls around. And last year, there are a few more candidates with last year, like Simeon Barrow, Derek Harmon, both leaving during the spring cycle. Gino Vandenmark, too. You want to throw Jaden Mangum's name in the mix? Yeah, well, why not? A lot of drama here in the spring the last few years here in East Lansing. But, guys, it was a snoozer as far as guys going out. And that's not to say you didn't lose a starter. Anthony Jones, from the edge position, yeah, he leaves the program. And then Dylan Tatum is certainly a name we know. That was a little bit of a surprise, maybe a shock. But after talking to people within the program, seems like that was going to be more of a backup spot for Dylan Tatum. He wanted to seek out more playing time. Good on you. It certainly wasn't your starting quarterback leaving. It certainly wasn't your star receiver leaving. It certainly wasn't the interior of your defensive line entirely leaving. Guys, allow us to take a sigh of relief here that, hey, there wasn't a lot of headlines about guys leaving the program here in East Lansing. So look at us. Just go ahead and roll out the parade on Grand River. Consider this offseason a sweeping success. You kept Nick Marsh. You still have Aidan Chiles, their starting quarterback. And also, guys, you returned a lot of your offensive line. I mean, anyone that was consequential to last year's team that could have come back is still here. And I started to have, I guess not concerns, but more of just hey, everyone, keep your eye on the offensive line room because there's a lot of guys that had snaps last year that could be on the 3 deep going into next year. I don't know if they're going to be here or they might enter the transfer portal, but still a lot of depth to that offensive line. Guys, there are no scholarship players that entered in the spring cycle for offensive line. So all things considered, hey, all right, I like more of these springs in the future. Yes, please. Now, we also added a 3-pack of transfers here since we last talked, guys. And, 2 of them, secondary players, the defensive secondary. And that is whenever we talked about what position will they be after in the spring cycle. Conversation always started on the defensive side of the ball. Whether it was the rush edge position, which they got from Isaac Smith, Texas Tech, talked a little bit about him on Friday's show, but ever since then, they added that other position we were talking about, that secondary. They got a corner, they got a safety. We're going to start with the guy, Tracy Revels from Bowling Green, from Texarkana, Texas. I've actually been in that city. We stopped there on our road trip down to the Cotton Bowl. Not the fun one in 2015 before watching our heads get caved in by Alabama. But hey, Texarkana, beautiful part of the country. Anyway, Tracy Revels played in all 12 games for Bowling Green last year. Started the last 6 games as a freshman. I'm sorry, played in all 13 games. They didn't make a bowl game. But he started the last 7 games as a freshman. Now, during that freshman season, Mr. Revels, 69.4 rating on Pro Football Focus, if you take their word like the Bible. Now that rating, what does that really mean? Well, they like what they had to see from this guy, especially as a freshman, because you break it down to all 35 freshman safeties in group of 5 football that played at least 100 snaps. Well, he was the 8th best amongst those 35 freshman safeties. So not bad, especially if this is going to be a depth piece for Michigan State. But could he actually find his way in the starting lineup? I don't think it's too far-fetched here, because you look at what he did at Bowling Green, where he played. He really was a chess piece for the secondary. He split his time, I call it 40-20 between box and nickel. Okay, that's where he primarily played, with a little bit of snaps at free safety. So when you're looking at the safety room, of course, Malik Spencer, he's going to be there somewhere. Most likely, I'd assume your box safety. Kai Martinez, now he split some time between free safety and that slot nickel position last year. I think that had more to do with injuries as to why he was at the nickel, but any way you slice it, Kai Martinez, you're probably sharpied in for starters. Could you see Revels play as a starter at that nickel spot? I mean, who else would it be? It could be a Day Wiley, a guy that's returned. Could it be any of your other 3 transfer cornerbacks that you got? Malcolm Bell, Nijay Burt, Joshua Eaton. Could it even be Darius Snow, who, of course, has the LB written by his name? He's played linebacker the last few years, but he's also no stranger to playing a little bit of slot corner. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll get more answers in the fall camp, I'm sure, but I would not discount Tracy Revels. I know that you get a lot of depth pieces in the spring, but I think he's got at least a decent shot to get some starting snaps here at that nickel spot, perhaps even one of those safety positions. Again, this is a fluid player, young player, comes here with 3 years of eligibility. Now, I know we just named 3 starting corners, and all these guys came in that winter cycle. Of course, Malcolm Bell out of UConn, Joshua Eaton, and then Nijay Burt. They were not done getting corners because they needed some. You lost your 2 starters last year. Chuck Brantley out of the portal. That's your biggest portal loss, happened in the winter. He's down at Miami. Ed Woods, your other starting corner, he has no more eligibility. What are you going to do? Tough. You needed guys in this room. And, well, yeah, they went and got some, and they got even more. They got one other one, and this guy has some hometown roots to it. Anthony Pinnace, I'm so sorry, Pinnace. We're going to go with Pinnace here. I think that sounds pretty good. He was at UTSA. This is where he came from, but he was only there for the spring, so just like long enough to check out Dave Warner's old office there at UTSA beforehand. He was kind of a hot commodity out of the JUCO ranks. He was a top 15 JUCO transfer according to 24/7 Sports. And, well, played at Iowa Western, where he did okay there. Made the national title game at the JUCO ranks, 18 tackles, 5 pass breakups as well for Iowa Western. And then also started at Independence Community College. He was an All-American there. So the hometown ties here. He's from Ypsilanti. Played quarterback at Ann Arbor here on high school, so quarterback out of high school. Found his position in the secondary in college, and, well, yep, just throw him into the mix with Malcolm Bell, Nijay Burt, Joshua Eaton. Chance Rucker also coming back, and so, hey, out of those 5 guys that we just named, with Anthony included, please find 2 guys that will work here. I just give it a try. But anyway, on a more serious note, I do like the route, and I have talked about this ad nauseum, so I apologize if this is your 5th or 15th time hearing this go around. We've seen the transfer portal route A is what we'll call it, especially under the Mel Tucker era, where, hey, if you need a position of need, let's go down to the SEC. Who lost their starting job? Come up here to East Lansing. It's better than what we got. Let's just see how it's going to go, and left a lot to be desired here. Route B, which is what we're seeing unfold right now. We'll wait to see if this actually works. I'm hopeful. Hearing actually great things about Joshua Eaton out of camp so far in the spring. But you get guys that have produced and have a lot of snaps at a lower level, Can they ratchet it up a notch when they get up to big boy football in the Big Ten? I hope so. Please just make it work, guys. That's just all I'm begging you here for. Also, one more transfer here, Kai Rios. This is a tight end. We talked about this too beforehand of positions that they would target. They're going to target the tight end position here. Was the rumblings that we've heard, even though they have Jack Belling, Brennan Parachek, Michael Masunis, even young gun Wyatt Hook in the room, but they bolstered it with more depth with Kai Rios. 2 years left of eligibility from Indiana State. He started 3 games last year, so there you have it. Welcome to the newest Sycamore turned Spartan, Kai Rios. Guys, we're going to be here in a hot second. Again, talking with Leonard Ah You. I do want to recap Michigan State in the draft really quick before then. But before all that, guys, FanDuel Sportsbook, America's #1 sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are almost here. What am I saying? They are here. Oh, God, what a gut-wrenching loss that was for the Pistons today. Anyway, FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action right now. When you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. FanDuel makes it so easy to pick games, guys, right? Like whether it's my favorite team, the Pistons, or diving into my favorite player props. Malik Beasley, that's right, over 3 3-pointers today was on the card over at FanDuel. Guys, they make it so simple. Like I said, from 3-pointers, like I just mentioned, to steals, assists. FanDuel has so many ways you can bet your favorite player props. Do not miss out this NBA playoff action. Head over to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Again, guys, that's over at FanDuel.com. All right, the NFL draft came and went, and we just got a few little nuggets of information here about our Michigan State Spartans before we get into this chat with Leonard Ah You. Luke Newman, drafted 6th round, and hey, we got a mailbag question the other day, and it was what Michigan State Spartans could possibly be drafted. Luke Newman was one of the 2 names we pulled out just because he tested just off the charts. Even though he wasn't at the combine, he did not get the invite there, but at his pro day, oh lordy, whether it was the high jump, broad jump, I think bench press, he set top 5 numbers should he have been invited to the combine. But more importantly than that, at the Shrine Bowl, he played 3 different offensive line positions, and he was a tackle over at Holy Cross, played at the interior here at Michigan State. So while on paper, while in the workouts he had great numbers, he also showed his versatility. And that was going to be worth a day 3 pick to at least one organization out there. Unfortunately for all you Michigan State Lions fans out there, that was the Chicago Browns, but good on Luke Newman to get picked and hear his name in the end of the drafts there. The other name he pulled out for possibly at the end of day 3 was Nate Carter, because just like Luke Newman, his numbers, like his 40 time, his bench press, his broad jump, I think was another good one. He had great times. Okay, but hey, he did not get picked, but he was a priority undrafted free agent. He goes down to Atlanta. Now, could he carve out a role there? Can he make the roster? Right now in Atlanta, it's pretty obviously Bijan Robinson. Okay, that's your RB1 over there. Not much debate for that. Right behind him, Tyler Algier. Pretty solid guys. But with Nate Carter, it's going to be him and 3 other practice squad journeymen looking for that RB3 spot, that 3rd string running back spot. So could he win the RB3 spot in camp? Perhaps. Could he be bounced around some practice squads? Perhaps. But hey, you know what? With the talent that he has, and just, as great of a person and a teammate as he is too, hopefully Nate Carter can stick it out somewhere here, but he will begin his NFL journey in Atlanta. Now, there are some other guys here that I do want to mention for guys that signed undrafted free agents. There were a few mini camp invites, right? Like Maverick Hansen was one. Tanner Miller was another one. Even Legend Cavazos got a mini camp invite to Tampa. But 2 other guys that are undrafted free agents, Jonathan Kim, that was the lone Michigan State Spartan that went to the NFL Combine this year around. Now, this one, I think he might have a legitimate shot of winning this battle here in Chicago, because Cairo Santos, a name that we know, like he's an 11-year vet. Last year, though, he's like 85%-ish on field goals. He missed a few point-after attempts. He was like in the 25th, 26th in like all relevant kicking stats that you possibly have. So you can see why Chicago wants to have a little bit of an upgrade here at the kicking position. And then Kayron Lynch-Adams, running back here, of course, last year, he is going down to Carolina for the Panthers. That might be a little harder of a role to stick out as opposed to Nate Carter, who just has to battle 3 guys for that last running back spot. But hey, you know what? Kayron Lynch-Adams, if you know anything about him, He runs with tenacity. He runs with anger. So that is the 411 on the NFL draft from the weekend. All right, guys, let's get to our chat with Leonard Ah You right now. This is a big one. This is an exciting one because we have an incoming linebacker, not just like your normal everyday, oh, he's coming out of high school or, oh, he's out of the transfer portal. No, this is a fascinating story for Leonard Ah You out of Hawaii. But before we get to his path, his story, Leonard, you were in the great state of Michigan not too long ago for a visit, checking in with the team. Go ahead. Just give us the highlight of that whole visit last weekend.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. First off,
Of course.
it's a big honor. Something different for me. I was actually committed to Oregon State. That's why I came with Coach Smith. But being out there in Lansing, it's different. Coming from Hawaii, not used to the cold. But this past week, it's been amazing. It wasn't as cold as I was expecting.
What is the coldest weather you've ever actually experienced? Is this going to be a shock when like November rolls around here in East Lansing?
I was in Alaska for a little bit, like a week, so that's probably the coldest I've ever experienced. But that was when I was younger.
Yeah, that would do it. So when you go to East Lansing last week, I try to pick around, see, okay, what's going on in practice? How are the different position groups looking? How is the linebacker room looking, though, right now? When you're watching the practice or maybe a scrimmage, who was really standing out to you amongst the crowd?
So I got there just at the end of spring ball, so I wasn't able to see any practices.
Shoot. Okay.
But doing a little bit of research, of course, Jordan Hall, number 5, watching him, he knows what he's doing on the field. He's very smart. His football IQ seems very high.
No question. So where do you fit into all this? Like, do you think you're going to profile more of a middle linebacker, strong side? Do you ever creep down to the edge? Or when you have the conversations with the coaching staff, where are you going to fit into all this defensive scheme coming up here?
So as of right now, they have me down as a middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Due to my weight. But the thing is, I'm just trying to get on the field. So wherever they need me to play, I'll play it. Whether it's that kicker or long snapper, I'm there.
So because let's get into it right now, your path here, because like we said, like this isn't, hey, right out of high school, go to college. You did a 2-year mission trip. So throughout all of that, like obviously you're away for the game for 2 years. Are you in like football shape right now? Do you still have to admittedly do a little bit of working out here until kickoff? Or like where are you at right now as opposed to where you were 2 years ago physically?
I'm working back to my body and my speed, especially from 2 years ago. But I just came from Arizona training with a trainer out there. His name is Chad Ike. He really helped me get my body back to on the right course of where it needs to be.
Excellent. Stay away from the Brody cafeteria if you want to.
Yeah,
keep.
I heard about it. I heard about it.
Legendary. Opened up when I was a student, roughly 40 years ago at this point. But yeah, I heard it still hasn't lost its stride. So I'd love to talk about that mission trip. Like, where were you at? What did it entail? Just go ahead and bring us through your last 2 years here.
So I serve in the beautiful islands of Samoa. So it's part of the Polynesian islands. There's a bunch of bloodline of Samoans that came through Michigan State.
Sure.
But I was there for 2 years. I served in Western and American Samoa, and I had the privilege of going back to my roots. My mom and my dad is both Samoan. My mom's actually from American Samoa. So that was my first time in Samoa, and it was a privilege.
So what kind of work do they have you doing over there? Like, was it something a little different every other month, or was it kind of the same thing for 2 years straight? What did they have you doing over there?
So in the beginning of my mission, I was what you call a proselyting missionary. So I would go out and knock on doors and just spread the gospel, invite people to come unto Christ. And then I got towards the end of my mission, I was able to help the mission start the social media part of the mission. So the Samoan mission, it didn't have social media elders ever until I was there. Opened up its Facebook, its YouTube, and was able to reach more people through social media. Just use it as a different tool.
Game Time, the greatest ticketing app out there. They want to hook it up for you this NBA playoff season because, guys, like there is no better atmosphere than an NBA playoff game. Just watching that on TV at Little Caesars Arena makes me think I should probably mosey my way over to Game 6 should there be one if the Pistons beat the Knicks. But even if they don't, hey, I know I'm going to go to Comerica Park very soon. Want to take my little tyke to his first ever Tigers game, and I'm going to walk up without the tickets. That's right. How about that for an ad read right now? But no, I'm being serious because the last-minute ticket deals on Game Time, You can save up to 60% on tickets, even if you're just walking up to the stadium a few minutes before that first pitch, the tip-off or kickoff. Because with their last-minute ticket deals, you're going to get great seats in great locations with, like I said, guys, those great savings. Head on over to Game Time. They make it so easy. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download Game Time today. It's last-minute tickets. Lowest price is guaranteed. How much did that just change you as a person here? Because going door to door, I can only imagine how many, comfort zone barriers that shatters for you, because I know I could not be built for that. But how about you? Like, how much of a changed person are you in the last 2 years?
Oh man, it's crazy. I'm so grateful I went on my mission. I was actually the biggest part I was grateful for was I was being humbled. I thought I was
Sure.
I thought coming out of high school, I thought I was the man. I thought I was able to do everything. And then I go on my mission, and I'm just a Samoan that doesn't speak Samoan, and that's a big thing because I didn't speak the language, but I'm Samoan, so it was really hard for me, but really humbling. Sleeping on the floor, not having water in the house, having to walk down a mile down the road to shower in a river, and being eaten by mosquitoes. That's not a fun thing.
Yeah, that would change your perspective on a few things.
Yep.
Like from a football sense, though, obviously, there is definitely a lineage of great players from that part of the world. Did you get connected with anyone football-wise over there, or were you kind of not really involved in any of that when you were on your mission trip?
I wasn't really involved as much as I would want it to be,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I was doing the Lord's work, so
Yeah.
we weren't really focused on football at the time.
How often were you able to work out over there, stay in football shape, or was that also not really a thing that you were able to do the last 2 years?
I was supposed to be, but
yeah,
in my head, I was on vacation with the football team.
Sure.
So now I'm paying for it right now, trying to get back into shape and get my body back.
Well, and also too, sleeping on the floor. You mentioned you got to take a walk down to the river, just take a shower. It's probably not like a squat rack anywhere, or just like the top flight technology that you can have to weight train. So that's gotta be tough over there, man.
Oh yeah, it's definitely hard. It's more of a I have to do it rather than I gotta do it. There's a bunch of missionaries that use buckets. They put water in two buckets, and they use a stick just to get kind of like a bench in. But I wasn't that dedicated to.
Innovative. I love
Yeah.
that. So over the last 2 years, you're away from football. Did it ever enter your mind that maybe I don't ever go back to football, or were you always dead set on coming back to the game?
Oh no, I love playing football. Football is, I don't know, any sport. I love playing sports, but football, that's my sport. I love being at peace when I'm on the field. That's what it really is.
And so, like you said earlier, Oregon State is who you're originally committed to. Obviously, that's not going to transpire. You're coming here to Michigan State. What got you here to Michigan State? Was it just the coaching staff largely moving over? Was it someone else within the program, or how'd you end up in East Lansing here?
It was mostly the coaching staff. I was super excited to play for someone like Coach Smith and Coach Laie. Coach Laie is a defensive line coach. He's from Samoa too. Made a very strong connection with him, especially when we're out there in Oregon, at Oregon State. And Coach Smith, I just love how he's just a family guy. The Polynesian culture are all about family, and Coach Smith fits right into that. He could be a Samoan if he wanted to.
There we go. Love that. So Coach Sui Noa, I should say. Apologies, but what kind of a coach is he like during practice? Have you been able to peek inside of practice and see what he's like, or is this all going to be a new experience for you when you show up in the fall?
It's all basically going to be it's all.
Gotcha.
It's all stuff I'm hearing from some of the boys from Hawaii and some of the boys from out here in Utah. That's Polynesian.
And speaking of the islands, you're not going to be the only Hawaiian on this team. You also have Inelu Lafayette, if I'm saying his name right. I've been really trying hard with that.
Oh, that was good. That was pretty good.
Let's go. All right, chalk one up for me over here. There we go. PK Burnett, another one. And then this is an easy one, Rustin Yun. Although I believe Rustin, that's just his nickname, so to speak, that he goes by. He's got an extraordinarily long name, but we're going to stick with Rustin here. Do you know any of those guys? You guys are from all Oahu, obviously, but did you run in any of their circles prior to coming to Michigan State, or is this all going to be new for you here too?
So a little fun fact: my junior year, I actually beat Inelu for a state championship, and then my senior year, I beat Kekai Brunette for a state championship. Also, he's also a defensive lineman out there. But yeah, I said they had a few words for me when I got up there because I was kind of like said some things during games that I regret now, but they're my
Eh,
teammates, so we're gonna move on from that and try to build something.
yeah, as long as you're bringing to the team that you guys are all playing on, who
Yo,
cares? Like, did you wear your state championship ring to this visit? Did you really let them know that
uh,
hey, it's me
I was
again?
I was thinking about it, but I decided to be a little more humble than usual.
Good for you. Look at you, just growth. That's what I'm talking
Yep.
about, man. So just like a fascinating upbringing because from Oahu, but it's not like you're from Honolulu, which is I was been lucky enough to go there once in my life. Kind of like a bigger city, like a metropolis, if you will. But where
Yep.
you're from, Kahuku, like it's not like remote by any means, but it's certainly not in the main city. What was just life like for you growing up? I mean, was it just paradise every day, or like just give us an inside look of your life in northern Oahu?
Oh, it's the country. We're
Yeah,
not cowboys or nothing, but that's the country of
sure.
Oahu. So I come from a city called Laie,
Okay.
and Laie is right next to Kuku. It's like the village right over. But growing up in Laie, that's the greatest place in the world. There's a whole bunch of amazing football players that come from that little village of Laie, and I was just blessed to be able to be born into that and be raised around the culture of football, and that's what made me want to come to Michigan State and play football. Football is my dream because of where I was born and raised.
Why do you think that is that like so many great players come from like that just small country town of northern Oahu? Like what is it you think?
It's our way out. It's our way off the island. That's
Gotcha.
back in the day. That's how they took care of their family, and that's the end goal for me is to be able to take care of my parents and retire my parents. So, football is the avenue for me right now.
No question. And you know what? This last question, this is a completely selfish question. Like this is only for an audience of one. But there's a YouTube series out there. It's called Adventures of Golf. This guy, Eric Andrews Lane, he goes throughout the entire world, plays at unique golf courses. And I remember this. One of his early episodes, he played at Kahuku Golf Course, which is just beautiful, 9 holes right on the coast. And it's only like $30 for 9 holes in such a beautiful place, not just of Hawaii, but of the entire world. I gotta know, Leonard. Like, have you played that golf course right off the ocean there? Are you a golfer yourself or no?
See, that is so funny that you're asking this because
Okay.
I came back from my mission wanting to learn how to play golf so bad that I think like 3, 4 times a week, I would go out there and it's
No
actually
way.
$20. It's not 30
Oh
anymore.
my
It's cheaper.
god.
It's $20 and we would walk around with no shirt and just play golf. We don't really know what we're doing or what the each club means, but we're out there trying
Sure.
to learn. So if anyone in Michigan wants to help me learn how to play golf, I'm all ears.
I'm there. I'll drive over. East Lansing's only an hour and a
Yeah,
half away. I'm not.
that's
I'm
what
not
I'd
the
like to
best at it,
hear.
but yeah, I can help you out. As long as you'll fly me out to your city so I can
Oh,
play. Is it fair trade? I think that's
fair
like
trade.
monetarily the same. Okay,
Yep,
awesome,
fair trade.
perfect. But yeah, like it just looks like a beauty out there. I mean, just like you said, like you're out there with no shirt. Like the guy said that people play barefoot all the time. Sometimes there's not even anyone at the pro shop. You just leave some money in the box. It's like
Yep.
in a sport so expensive, like that is just a little slice of paradise within the sport. So I'm jealous. That's awesome, man.
Yep.
Look at you.
Shout out to
Look at
Google
you.
Golf Course. I'm excited. When I go back, actually gonna go play with a few friends.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I'm glad I asked. I debated asking that question because it's so random and I got like it's a cool YouTube series. I don't think anyone else has really watched it though, but that's great to hear that you've taken it up. Is that now your second favorite sport, golf, or is there another one that kind of sticks out even a little bit more than golf?
I think I'm between three sports right now. It's pickleball,
Oh,
golf,
nice.
and basketball. I love playing basketball.
There we go. Man, hey, this has been a great chat, Leonard. I cannot thank you enough, especially with your crazy travel schedule, guys. Like a peek behind the curtain. Like Leonard has gone from Hawaii to Michigan, now over to Utah. Are
Nope.
you sleeping okay? Like, is everything good over there?
I haven't really slept that much. My sleep schedule a little messed up, but we gotta do what we
Perfect.
gotta do.
So next time you're here in East Lansing is what, like early August, or what's next up for
I'll
you
be
as
up
far
there the
as
first
visiting?
week of June.
Okay, there we go.
Sure.
Hey, you know what? The weather is going to closely resemble maybe a little bit Oahu weather. Just like
Yeah.
a tad, a little bit. Can't promise too much here, but
I'm
Leonard, can't
investing
thank
in
you
a
enough.
jacket right now.
Good for you. Good for you. Leonard, can't thank you enough, man. This has been an awesome chat. I absolutely love your story. So yeah, it's just one thing to talk to an incoming player, which is always exciting. But with someone as unique of a background as you have, yeah, could not wait to sit down and chat with you. So thanks a lot for burning up some time with me, my man.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate being here. Thank you for having me. If you ever need me ever again for anything, let me know.
Just
And
9
I'm
holes
gonna
in
take
northern
you up on.
Oahu.
Yep, I'm gonna
Yep,
take you
there
up
we
on the
go.
golf.
All right. You got my number. Perfect. I'll see you in here in a little bit. Who knows where it's going to be, but it's going to be a great time. Guys,
Yes,
speaking
sir.
of great time, we're going to try to keep on having great times here on this show right here, Locked On Spartans, because, yes, we do this 5 days a week. Now, until next time, take care of yourselves. Love you all. Go green. That's right, Leonard.
Oh, green, baby.
Woo!